Hello, what's up YouTube photographer Ronnie Sweet, and in this tutorial I want to show you how you can easily make or edit your photos and make them pop in camera, or if at all you have Lightroom. So this is going to be an easy tutorial and it's going to really transform your images. And if at all you find it helpful, make it a point that you hit the like button, because when you hit the like button on the video, YouTube pushes a video to so many people out there, and it helps the channel grow, and it also helps the video perform better regarding the view count or the like count in general. So make sure that you hit the like button on this video, and let's just proceed. So this is the image that we have right now, and a brief information about the image. It is a raw file taken using my Canon 60 camera, and it was an outdoor image taken using a one light setup. Right here you can see my softboxes on the corner. Then about the settings, I shot it at ISO 200 using a Tamron 70-200mm f2.8, and I shot it at 200mm, and the f-stop was 2.8, and the shutter speed was 1/800th of a second. So this is the before, and I'll show you how we're going to get the image to looking like this. So I'm just going to come and I'm going to reset everything to default. So usually when I shoot RAW, it means that I have amount or a big amount of details that I want to retain or recover when I'm trying to edit. That is the advantage when you shoot in RAW. So if I told you shoot in JPEG, it means that all the information is going to be compressed, and you're going to be having less to do with the image when you're trying to edit or do adjustments on it. So make sure that you always shoot in RAW, because that is really a more advantageous process or an upper hand when you're going to be editing your image. So usually when I come to camera or Lightroom, I first of all handle this adjustment or the basic adjustments first before I do anything else regarding colors. So usually I first of all analyze the image. So for this case, you can see my highlights are a little bit blown out right here, and my whites are also blown out. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come to my highlights, and I'm just going to drag it down to try and recover the highlights in the image. And you can see that one step really gets back the information in the sky area. Then in order to get back more information within the sky, I'm just going to come and also take down the whites just like that, and that really makes the image look better. So after that, I come to my blacks and I crush or take down the blacks, and that adds some contrast to the image. And I also come to the contrast and pump up the contrast just like that. So I prefer my images to have contrast. Then I come and open up the shadows slightly. Then I feel like the white balance is a little bit off. So what I'm going to do, just going to warm up the image just like that. Then also come and take down the exposure slightly, because I feel like the image was a little bit on the overexposed end. So after that, I'm just going to come to the clarity and add some kind of definition to the image by pumping up the clarity of the image just up around 4 looks great. Then usually if at all I want the colors to pop, I don't come to saturation, I just come to vibrance. So just take a minute and look at these two sliders. When you take up the saturation, it means the colors are going to be looking very awkward, so which we don't want. So I'm just going to reset this. But when you take up the vibrance, you can take it up without looking at the image, or without the image looking awkward at all. So for this case, I'm not going to take it all the way. I'm just going to leave it at around 28, and that makes a difference. Look at the before and the after right now. So if at all you're comfortable with the image at this point, you can stop here. But if at all you want it to pop, let's proceed to playing around with the colors that are embedded within this photo. So I'm just going to come. So under detail, I don't handle any sharpness or sharpening to the image. I just leave it the way it is meant to be, because I usually shoot my images with the sharpness cranked all the way up. So under this, I just come to my luminance, and luminance is more. So right now we're in the color mix setup. So I come to the luminance option. Luminance is more about light. So under colors, luminance is the brightness or darkness of a given color. So for this case, I want to get back information within the sky and those nice colors to pop within the sky. Remember, the sky usually has a blue color, and I also want her pants to pop right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to come to my blues and I'm just going to take the luminance of the blues down, but I'm not going to take it all the way down. So at around -21, that looks okay. Then next I'm going to come to my hues, and under hues I'm going to come to the reds. Remember, when you're hueing a given color, when you take it towards the right hand side, you're going to be making the reds look more on the orange side, and when you take the reds towards the left hand side, you're going to be making the reds more like the magentas. So for example, if at all we play around with the orange color for this case, when you move the orange color towards the right hand side, you'll be making it look like a color below it, which is the yellow. And when you move it towards the left hand side, you'll be making it, or you'll be making the oranges look like a color on top of it, which is the reds. So that is how the hue option works. So for this case, I want to make the reds a little bit more of the orange, just like that. And I want to make my oranges a little bit reddish in color, just a little bit, but not too much. So this helps me to work better with the skin tone. And after that, I'm just going to come straight to my yellows, and under yellows I'm just going to make the yellows a little bit more on the yellow side to make the background pop a little bit more. I'm going to come to the greens, and it's going to be more of a personal preference, so I'm going to make the greens more on the yellow side. So that looks okay. And look at the before and after for our HSL or the color mixer option, and that looks great. So after that, I just go straight down to my calibration tool within my camera or even Lightroom. So right now, what I tend to do in order to add or give the image that nice and beautiful pop, I come to my blue primary and come all the way to my saturation. So when you take this saturation slider up, just look at how the image is going to get transformed. Just look at the colors and how they're going to pop in this case. So look at what we have just done. That's the before and after. Before, after, just look at how the colors have just decided to pop with just moving the blue primary slider under saturation. So I'm just going to come to the green primary and I'm just going to crank that up also, just by a tiny bit, up around 10. So this is now looking great. So let's just have a quick look at the before and after for this very image and how we have been able to transform it. So this is the image before. Just look at how flat the image was looking, and just look at the after right now, and it is now looking great. It is now popping, and the colors are really attractive in this case. Just the before and after, before, after. So after this, the next thing that you want to do is to open up the image within Photoshop to do maybe the skin retouching and every other adjustment that you want to do within Photoshop itself. So right now, what I tend to do, I just come and double click right here, and it's going to open up the settings, and the color space I prefer to use is Adobe RGB 98, and I prefer to edit my images in 16-bit channel. So image resizing, basically I leave it at the default, and I prefer 300 pixels per inch. Then I usually want the images to look a little bit sharper. That is why I did not sharpen the image when I was doing the adjustments within my camera. So I come to output sharpening and I check this option. Then I make sure I select sharpen for screen, because usually I post the images on social media, and the amount I prefer a high amount of sharpening. Then I simply press OK. So these settings are going to apply to every image every single time you open up your camera. And after that, you can just come right here. So don't press that done, just come and press open, and the image is going to be open into Photoshop, so that you can do the skin retouching and any adjustments that you want to do within your image. So look at it before and after, before, after. So this is how to edit your raw images and make them pop within Camera or even Lightroom. And this is all for today's tutorial. And if at all you love this, don't forget to hit the like button on this video, so that YouTube can push and recommend this video to so many people out there. Ronix from Ronix Photography, and I'll see you in yet more tutorials. And don't forget to keep practicing and also keep creating.